Hey, welcome back. Good to see you again. Hope you're all well. Welcome to the bench. So today I have an old friend of mine. This is my Harman Kardon HK580i. This is my daily driver that I use when I'm not testing somebody else's gear. I use this to listen to myself, and I like it because it sounds great. But it's developed a problem, and yeah, we need to sort it out. Well, we don't need to. It works fine without sorting, but okay, anyway, the problem is here. Let's try it out. I'll demonstrate it for you. I'll turn it on and let me see. Let me get a tone going here first. Okay, got a tone connected, and I'm just going to turn it on and then we'll listen for it to start up. Okay. No problem that time. Sometimes it starts up. There's a lot of noise in the left channel, and it's a rushing sound. It doesn't sound good. So, the problem with this is the subsonic filter. When I press it, you hear that? Try it again. And it's independent of volume. High cut's on. Tone defeat. It's only with this subsonic you can hear that noise. Sometimes that noise comes out into the channel with the subsonic filter out. But it does sound great, everything works fine until you hit the subsonic. So I have a feeling I know what it is. Let's go look at a schematic and we'll try and figure this one out. Alright, so here's the input section of the 580. We have all our input jacks here. Phono, tape, auxiliary. That's what I was feeding my tone into, and then it goes through the function switch, auxiliary, AM, FM, blah blah blah, and then it goes into the tone stage. So let's go here and pull this over. So first up we have our balance control, and then we have our blend. That's our the blend control is a variable control between full stereo separation and mono. So as you turn the control, it shunts these two lines together and creates a mono signal. And then our balance does what it's supposed to do, does balancing. We have our loudness switch and our volume control. These are the things that are first up. And then it goes into a stage, amplification stage, and then after that the output is on this capacitor that's 220 at 6.3. From here it goes into the tone defeat switch, and then it bypasses, either goes through the tones controls or it bypasses those, and then it steps over to the subsonic filter. And the subsonic filter is active. It looks like it has two components here, two transistors. I have a feeling one of these transistors is faulty, and they are 2SC2603, I think. After the subsonic filter, the high cut filter, and the same kind of setup. It has amplification, I think. It's a buffer amplifier, and then after that it is out to the power amplifier. So I think this is one of our faults here. Is I don't know which channel we're dealing with, but one of these transistors is faulty. So I'm gonna open it up and pull those two. We got Q562 and 561. They're both NPN transistors. So let's open it up and have a look at those, at that area. So if we look here at the tone control board, Q561, Q562 is right here and here. And that is right directly between the blend control and the balance. So that's right on the tone board, and that's going to be at the bottom of the chassis. So let's open up the bottom and take the bottom off and have a look at this. Alright, so the bottom's removed, and these are the two transistors I suspect. This is Q562 and 561 here. Those two. So let's put power to it. Okay, let's turn this tone off. We don't need tones. Let's hit the subsonic button. Oh, now it's going to be quiet. Oh, it's a little bit there. I can hear it. Let's try this. A little bit of heat. Ooh. Didn't like that. Didn't like being touched. Yeah, we definitely have a problem there. Either it's a cracked solder. It's a cracked solder or a bad transistor. Which one is it? This one? One of those two. I'm gonna have to pull this board out because yeah, I need to get to the bottom of that board. It's going to be quite a chore to get this board out. I removed the screws that holds this board in place, and I can move it back maybe a 1/4 inch. That's the most I can move this. It's just really jammed in here, and it's hitting the heatsink is right here, so there's no way it's going to go back. What I'm going to have to do is split the chassis, probably right here at the bottom, and bring it out, and that's the only way I'll get enough room to get this board out. There's a lot going on here. There's lots going on here. Switches, the tuner, so it's going to be quite a chore. But I'm wondering, it's the only way I can see it coming apart is, splitting it here at the bottom and getting it out that way. Alright. There's really there's no access here from above. It's all buried under boards. Alright, I'll just have to put my head down and go to it. Okay, so what I did is I removed screws from both sides of the front chassis, and the whole thing is loose now. You can see it. But it gives me enough room just to get this pried out, just like that. And then there we go. So, our little fun transistor's down here, and it's covered. So should have my iron warmed up. Let's remove this strap wire here. Okay. Let's check the connections. I don't think there's a cracked solder, but we're going to have a good look here. Well, if this wasn't in the way, it'd be a lot easier. Yeah, I don't think that's cracked. Let's power this up and see if we can get a signal off one of these two transistors to see if one of them is acting up. Okay, got the scope on. Let's turn the power. I'm not hearing it now. Poke around here. Maybe it is a crack joint here. Let me look. Yeah, you know what? It is a crack joint. Let me show you. Okay, I put light on it and I don't see any cracks here. But this pin here, you know what? It might be cracked. Let me try soldering that. Shut this off. Okay, let's see if I can do this right here. It doesn't look cracked at all, but that joint there was really flaky when I touched it. Okay, turn the power back on. Okay, amplifiers are on. See, now I can touch it and it doesn't make that loud noise. Touch it from above. I think we got it. I think we got it, boys and girls. It doesn't make that noise anymore. You know, visually that did not look like a crack at all, but apparently it is because it's gone now. And I have the subsonic pushed in, out, in, out, in, out, in, and no noise. So let's put it back together. Alright, we're back together. So I want to do a final test here. I want to take power to this, and I want to, let's turn the power on right now. Okay, so we are on. Let's hit the dirty switches. Which one's the subsonic again? I lost it. I think that one's the subsonic. Anyways, let me check. Yeah, subsonic is the center switch here. And I engage it, it's silent now. Okay, it's turned on. Let's take some heat and heat these transistors up a bit. I don't think we're going to have any more problems. Everything's silent. There's no more noise. So that was a weird one. The cracked solder joint that I couldn't see. But it's fixed now. It's no longer touch sensitive, no longer making noise. If I stick my finger in here, you can hear hums and yeah, it's all good. So I'm going to wrap this up. Alright, getting a little bit of DC on the output, if you can hear this. A little bit of DC on the left channel. The right channel sounds fine. So what I'm going to do is a DC balance adjustment. Take the speakers off, and we're going to turn on speakers 1. Well, first let's figure out which one is which here. Let's turn the speakers back on. I'm touching the input. Okay, that's the right channel. That's the left channel there. So the left channel is the one at the forward. Right channel is the one at the back of the unit. So let's see here. Let's connect our voltmeter. Let's turn off the speakers and let's connect our voltmeter up to, this should be left channel. You got millivolts, millivolts, millivolts. We have lots of millivolts. Look at that, 262 of them. And I know I set this before I shut it off, and when I first did the work on it, but somehow we have a 1/4 of a volt. So let's tune this in again. 1/4 of a volt won't do any damage to your speakers, but it sure is noticeable. You're sending a 1/4 of a volt into an 8 ohm load. So what is that? That's like 2 watts. If I do the math in my head. Actually, let's check it out. Here, let's turn it back up to 260 whatever. So here's our power consumption. Okay, 48.8 right now. Let's turn it down and let's see. Well, we got speakers. Let's turn the speakers on. You see that jumps about a watt, right? 49.2. Turn it off. It drops just a little bit. So it's not 2 watts. It's probably 200 milliwatts. So let's turn this down. I'm turning the wrong one, so I just screwed up the other channel. Okay, so we're going to do that next. Wow. Quite a bit of... Wonder why it was so far out. Alright, so we're in the negatives now. Let's bring it back up. Good enough. Let's do the other channel. Since I screwed it all up. We're at 10. Turn this down again. Good enough. Okay, let's check DC bias while we're here. And to do that, we want 33 millivolts across each channel. So we go across both emitter resistors. Let's check this one out. 25, a little low. They want 33. I'm just going to leave it there. Next one. 26. Good enough. Okay, I'm going to close this up. Check again on the switch. I don't hear anything. It's silent, so that's good. Got 0 on the output. Okay, so it's done. That was an easy fix. I wasn't expecting that. So subsonic filter, silent now. Now it also had a problem where when I first turned it on, let's say it sat for a week or two, and I first turned it on, there was a scratchy noise in the left channel. I don't know if that was related or not, and we're gonna do some more listening tests for that, but I think it's good now. I did clean the switches another time, not having faith in this deoxit for switches. I find the only real way to get a switch clean is open it up and clean the oxidation off of it manually. Spraying stuff in just doesn't seem to cut it. It's just a temporary fix anyway. See, like this tone defeat is still messed up a little bit, but I'm going to leave it alone. So this is good. I'm going to put the lid back on, put it back on the desk, and continue listening to it. It's not a shelf queen. This thing is filthy inside and it's beat up. It's got scratches, but I just love the sound out of it, so that's why I use it. So when you're trying to troubleshoot a fault like that, have work through all the controls and see which controls have effect on the fault and which ones don't. That way you can kind of pinpoint where in the circuit the fault lies. For example, this one had no effect on the tone, the volume knob, the blend knob, the balance knob, but it did have effect on bass and treble. So just from that, you can look at the schematic and you can kind of judge and see what part of the circuit the fault is happening, and then you can zero in on it and figure out what it is. So yeah, this is good. This is going to go back on my desk. Alright, well, thanks for watching. Take care, and stay tuned for more videos. See you on the next one. Thanks.